grasp on respect. No, I won't bother, 'cause it's a strain to see what it's worth. You scratch our heads and we wonder how it's all supposed to work. Well, I wonder,
Songwriting will take you places. Let me tell you, that was some images taken from Mount Shasta. Halfway up the mountain, someone or maybe a group of people decided to build that ring of stones, and it inspired me enough to go ahead and write about it. So, lyrics, melody, rhythm, a few chords, and a couple ukuleles. Hope you enjoyed that one. Hello again, everyone. I'm Tom Lamog. I'm a volunteer instructor for Guitar Serve at Cyber Chapter and with CAVARTS too, the Challenge America Veteran Arts Community. Welcome to Session 7 of Songwriters Bootcamp, where we're continuing to focus on the elements of music to bring your stories and lyrics into a song. For the next hour and a half, we'll be focusing on chapters 3, 4, and 5 of Andrea Stolpe's Becoming a Songwriter course guide in video. And for many of you, you've come a long way since we've kicked off things with our primer series through part 1, the lyric writing process, and now in part 2 of the music elements. I'm hoping that you're finding these workshops to be helpful in getting you and your first song or maybe your next song written. Now today, we plan on introducing another technique or another set of techniques, the use of pausing with our melodies. We'll also see if we can create some interesting melodic motifs. Perhaps you saw the homework assignment and maybe you'd like to share ones that you've created. Finally, maybe you're finding yourself writing lyrics that don't quite match up with your musical ideas, or maybe even vice versa. So, in this session, we'll be playing around with phrasing. And I've got two, maybe three gentlemen who will be joining me in just a few minutes. People that you've already met, veteran songwriters who have appeared on previous versions of Bootcamp, waiting on deck to join us. But let me see here if I can put my friend Ken Busby on the spot. Yes, sir, I am putting you on the spot with the. You probably knew I was going to because I missed you last week, or the week before, I should say. Ken, how you? How first of all, good to see you.
Good
How
to
are
see
you?
you. I'm good.
Great, great. Now, this you have been on this journey since co-hosting the Primer series back in March, and you hung out with us the entire journey. And I'm just wondering, you know, what you're getting from all of this. Are you getting help? Are you getting value from all of this that we're sharing with you? And you know, I, tell us a little bit about your songwriting journey to date.
Yeah, so I'm still writing songs. I just sent one to Matthew the other day that I was working on. Yeah, it was a little dark and disturbing, but it it it's helping. And that's what all this started out as, is just a way to get my feelings out and putting out on paper, and I'm able to do that. Still not great with music, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, let me ask you about that. Let me ask you about,
Yeah,
because I know the musical piece was something that it was a mystery to you,
all right.
and it's obviously something that we have to study sometimes a long time. It's not going to come to you in a day or a week or even a few sessions. It's something that we all have to kind of keep in our lives for a long time. What have you learned from the musical elements perspective that you've been able to apply?
So just because I can't play it on the guitar doesn't mean that I can't have it. I can hum it. I can, you know, do a do da 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 dee, in my head, and I can even record that and put it in a looper and loop that. It doesn't have to be on the guitar. It doesn't have to be on the keyboard or on the piano. Whatever I can use in my head to get that melody that I'm wanting to use or that I'm hearing when I'm singing the song. Um, I can do it that way. I can use my mouth. I can sing it. Excuse me. It doesn't have to necessarily be an instrument
There
that's
are
doing it. I
ways.
can be the instrument. So
There are options. Yeah, so
right.
don't feel, yeah, so it sounds like what you're discovering is that, hey, I'm still learning how to, use these instruments at my disposal, but there are workarounds to this. Now, and I know that you have been working with other songwriters who may be very capable musically. And,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, how's that going?
It's going great. One of the things that I learned from listening to a bunch of different people about songwriting is you got to build a team. Find people with strengths that are equal to what your weaknesses are. You can't be the jack of all trades to everything. You know,
Mhm, mhm.
um, just because you may be good at something, there might be somebody else that's better,
Gosh.
and you don't want to, have all your pride and say I want to do it all on my own and miss out,
Mhm.
on a great song, and just have a good song or a mediocre song because you were too prideful to go and ask somebody for help that was better than you. And I don't want to be that person, whenever I have a song, I want it to come out. I want it to be the best that it can be. I want it to be able to reach as many people as it can to help them like it has me when I wrote it. So that's the thing, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be so prideful,
Yes.
and what I found is everybody that I reach out to has been very helpful, and no matter what the level. I've reached out to top Nashville songwriters that I met one time at a retreat, and they've been just as helpful and nice as somebody who's just getting started like I am. So
There's
don't,
something to be said about
yeah,
collaboration for sure. In fact,
and everybody.
it's a theme that has recurred in every single one of the boot camps. Is basically, hey, there are times where I've got to be doing this by myself. It's too personal. But there
Right.
are many more times where people have reached out to others. And well, thank you for that perspective, Ken. Let me one last question. What are you hoping to get maybe answers to in today's workshop, and maybe before we end the series, which is next week Saturday? What are you hoping to get from
Just
what
like with
we have as well?
everything, this whole second part, the music part, I'm just wanting to learn more. More about the phrasing. You know, what exactly is it? Is it what I think it is in my head, or is it something else? Is it, is there something that I'm doing with it that somebody else is doing that's better than what I'm doing? Constantly learning, getting better. I want to get better. And I am so grateful that you're putting these on and getting all these high quality, knowledgeable people to come in and help us, because we're learning so much from this. Everybody in here, I'm sure of it.
Cool.
And I'm very thankful, and I look forward to today's class and next week's class. So
Well, you know what, Ken, I have to tell you, man, you inspire me. You started from square one, and now look at you. You're making all these connections. You're writing songs. This is such an awesome thing to watch. So thank you for
today's
being
actually my
vulnerable.
graduation day from
Oh,
Guitars for Vets.
well,
So it's been 1 year since I
congratulations.
graduated today.
So you are a guitar player now.
Hey, and I owe
You can
all
say
that to
that.
Dan. That's Dan right
Chance
there. Yeah,
Spiegelberg.
yeah.
All right. Way to go, Chance. Thanks, Dan, for taking this gentleman on this journey of not only guitar playing, but introducing him to music and songwriting as
He
well.
kept me
Too,
he
so.
kept me busy. I was ahead because I took, ITAG, so I was already ahead of the classes. But
Uh-huh.
he kept the whole 11 weeks. I had something new to learn, and he kept digging in deeper and deeper and finding something new for me to do. And it was
I
thank you,
had to
Dan.
run real hard to keep ahead of that guy.
Thank you.
Yeah, this man, he's got a lot on his plate, doesn't he, Dan? Thanks for coming out, my friend. All right, Ken. Well, listen,
Yep.
I am going to go ahead and check in with you a little bit later, but just
Sure.
keep us honest here, because you
I
being the
will.
student, I want you to make sure that you're getting answers to some of the questions that you have. All right, so I'll talk with
Hey,
him a
Derek
little bit.
popped in.
Yeah, he's here.
There you go.
Derek. Hey, all right. So let me go ahead and introduce you to today's guest panelists, our songwriters, our veteran songwriters. Couldn't do it without them. This is like, it's been a thrill. And earlier today, Jack Blaise, good morning, good afternoon. You're in Texas, so I'm going to say good afternoon. It's great to see you again, my friend, coming back for yet another session with the aspiring songwriters. How are you, Jack?
I'm doing great. I just can't get enough of it here.
Oh
It's
man.
awesome. So
Yeah, yeah. This is awesome. I mean, this not only did you've done one before, one of the songwriters boot camp sessions, and it was a thrill having you imparting the knowledge that you had. But you also did an episode of Songs Sung True, a Veterans Week, and we
mhm.
talked about some of the songwriting experiences and music and how that all tied into your life. Um, you were also with the U.S. Army and the U.S. Marine Corps. You've got quite a life and a lot of stories at your disposal. I was just wondering, have you been songwriting at all lately? Have you been able to get to that?
I absolutely have. I don't have anything finished. I've got about eight that are, three-fourths finished. I know everybody knows how that goes. But
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, I'm outside of Waco right now and about to head up north, maybe back to Colorado. I don't know, but yeah, and so I'm basically every day not just kind of woodshedding, playing my guitar and writing songs and trying to get some stuff recorded
Do you
to finally get
now,
some stuff out.
being out on the road? I don't know about you, but I get inspiration just being outside. I said the creativity
Absolutely.
seems to come a lot easier than being confined in like my studio here. It's kind of like, no. Is that how it works for you as well too?
Honestly, I find a lot of inspiration on the in-between times, like when you're driving back and forth, or waiting to fall asleep, or, that kind of stuff when that's when, the muse comes a knocking, and when it's convenient to have something to write with right there. But yeah, always the in between times, that's to me when inspiration strikes.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful. Wonderful. Well, it's great to see
good.
you. It's great to see. I know you're going to be jumping in here into the conversation here shortly, but I'll be back. All right. So let's see. Let me look at my other guests here, and let's see here. Where is Matt? Matt, hey Matt, let me add you into the conversation here. There he is, Matthew Jones of Matthew's Anthem.
What is going on?
Yeah. You have been a name that appears on my messaging thread
Oh, I'm
since the
sorry.
start of boot camp, and I have to not just the students, but also the instructors. It's kind of like you're onto something. What's the deal?
I don't know. What am I on to? What's happening?
Songwriting. It's like this guy's got something going on. Are you actively writing right now? Are you?
I am currently working on a piece that it come out of nowhere, you know, and I
Funny.
just kind of fell
Funny how
into
that
this little
works.
kind of picking pattern, and
Yeah.
so now it's like the only thing I can think about. So
Uh-huh.
it's work time when that's the only thing you can think about. It's like, okay, get the
So-
pen, get the guitar, get it all.
Oh, okay. So did it start with lyrics or did it start with music?
With
Tell us
music.
about it quickly.
So it started with music.
Start with music.
I was upstairs in the bedroom. I had my guitar up there.
Uh-huh.
I think I have a guitar in like every room in my house. But
You too,
I
huh?
was in the bedroom laying
Just
in
one?
bed, and I was drop tune and drop D, and I just started kind of farting around with a finger picking pattern,
Uh-huh.
and then I just kind of started humming, and it reminded me of like a nursery rhyme, like kind of the ring around the rosy, how it just kind of ebb and flows so nice and smooth, that the words just kind of fell into that. So yeah, I think
So
it
it
sounds
began.
cool.
And so it began. Is this something that happens often? I mean, it seems what's really funny is if you want to get to know Matt a little more than just these 90-minute discussions that we have, be sure to check out Songs Sung True at the G4V YouTube page, because he does go deeper into the songwriting and himself, his experience with life and in the service as well too. But I don't recall. Now I know you've written a number of songs, but are the songs, the writing process coming to you more easily? Is it flowing more so now since you've been?
I would say it is, and I blame you for it.
Oh, of course. I appreciate
Because
that.
it was like, you're kind of in your own way, doing your own thing at your own pace, and then somehow someone contacts you and says, "Hey, would you want to come on and do this?" And we're like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome." Well, so that kind of lit the fire. It was like, okay, now I got all this energy, and I got all these guys here. All these people are going to champion each other, and it sets the environment for success. So,
Yeah.
it's your fault.
I appreciate that. Hey, someone's got to do it.
Yeah.
Add it to my tab. All right. Well, it's great to see you, Matt. And we've got
Great
one
to be
more.
here.
Yeah. We're going to get right into it after I introduce our next guest, who, people know who this gentleman is as well, too, Derek Thompson.
All right, guys.
Derek Thompson, the man who just recently, I can say that 3 times
You can
fast.
get this out. You got this, buddy.
I know. I need a script for this. Lighthouse and the story behind it, and you go into it pretty deep. The last time we were able to talk a little bit about it. I'm just curious how, if you've heard any response, from the release of your song, which
Yeah,
will be
so
found on
I've
any
been.
streaming service, right? Is it available on all streaming services?
Yeah, it's pretty much available on any of them. I mean, from iTunes, which is, the big ones, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and then like 17 I've never heard of. But it's out there and available. We're going to work on a music video. It sounds like we might go out to Lake McConaughey here in Oglala, Nebraska. They have a lighthouse. So we might try to do a music video there. Or I know when it was funny, when I went to Hero Stock last year, I was driving up to Ashland, where, if you guys don't know Hero Stock, it's Ashland, Nebraska. It's one of the best events you can go to. I support Jason and I love them so much. They do amazing things for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families.
Hey, isn't that where
Um,
I met you?
that is, yeah, officially anyway.
I was there. Yeah.
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 And,
Yeah. Heroes.
but so I'm driving and we're passing. I was just like, is that a lighthouse? And there's this huge lighthouse just right outside Ashland on this random road. And I was like,
Really? Is
yeah, I
it
was like,
on
this is
a
the most
lake?
random. I didn't see anything. There used to be, or there might be. I think I'm pretty sure there's a lake there, but it's like the only big lighthouse in Nebraska. And I was like, that is the most random thing I've ever seen. If that's
That's
not a
kind of
sign, I
crazy.
don't know what is.
That's kind of crazy. It's almost like saying like you don't have to be in water to be drowning. You
Yeah,
know,
that's exactly what it was for me.
that's crazy.
Because I sat there and I just saw it and I was like, if that's not a sign that I gotta do this, then I don't know what is. So we pulled over. Me being me, I was like, we're stopping right now. And we took a picture with me. And that's actually so that the album cover for Lighthouse
Is
is Jillian's interpretation of that lighthouse. She literally, we sent her the photo. She's my daughter. By all intents and purposes, she's my daughter. I've taken her in and I love her to death. She's my buddy. She sent me a honorary or what did it say, bonus dad card. Scott, who got up there and sang with me at Hero Stock, love him to death. But yeah, so she did took the actual photo of that lighthouse and then she was doing a bunch of things with it. And then she ended up coming up with that photo based off that lighthouse outside of Ashland. So it was a very neat um, kind of like Easter egg, if you will, to get to throw that in there.
Isn't it interesting? I'm going to bring Jack. Jack, I'm going to bring you on as well too, since I've got all of you here. Isn't it interesting where songwriting has taken us? I mean,
Very.
me is heading up to the mountains and coming into this ring of stones that were built. What is it? Why is it here? And what's the significance of all of these personal? They look like little mementos in the center of the circle. I had to go ask questions, just like how you're asking about the lighthouse. What's that doing there?
Sonoma,
It's
here you
amazing.
go. I'll see if I can get that. This is right outside
Yeah.
of Ashland.
Is that you standing in front?
Yep,
Gee.
sure is.
Oh,
And that
cool.
was the original idea is we were just going to use that photo. And then I wanted to give Jill, I really wanted to bring her into it in a couple ways. And she got to do that. And then she also is the background vocals behind me.
Fantastic. I'm digging this story, the songwriting that's tied to it, and where it's taking you. So let's go, Jen. Since you're all here, let's go ahead and let me just continue on this topic. Where has songwriting taken you that you never thought it'd take you before? And you've heard from me, you've heard from Derek. Matt, you go next. Where has songwriting taken you and it inspired you to continue?
So I mean, when I started out Matthew's Anthem, my goal was to make an impact in people's lives in a positive way, and if I could do that by telling stories and using music to kind of convey it, then I wanted to do that. That's what I wanted my anthem to be. But getting into songwriting, it really kind of fits like what your motives are. Like, so if I want to make an impact, I have to write compelling stories with melodies that interact with the listener, and they can kind of find themselves in, and we make a connection that way. I've noticed that songwriting is taking me into just different perspectives now. Before it was just kind of through my eyes, how I was seeing things, and I've noticed that songwriting, at least with the last few songs I've written, I'm doing so, but I'm writing those songs, but I'm putting on like someone else's perspective and trying to tell that story that way, and it helps me kind of be just a little more unique in the storytelling. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those skills. Like, if you don't practice songwriting, you're gonna lose that skill, and the more that you do it, the better you're gonna get. And you're gonna be like, I can't believe I wrote that. It's like, yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Well, I
know.
mean, there's a
So
lot to be said about personal experiences that get translated into lyrics, or a story that gets again translated into a song itself, right? I mean, it's kind of like we could pull out of thin air absolutely nothing and be completely creative, or share that experience somehow through our own interpretation and lyrics and music, and then eventually a song. Jack, what about you? Where has songwriting taken you?
Uh, so I would not be here without songwriting. Songwriting is really, you know, um, pulled me off of the brink and brought me here to back to life, Um,
You were
and
flat on
on a
your back,
more,
right? You were flat on your back for a while,
yes, I was
right?
I
And this
was I
is,
was laid up
yeah.
for many years actually, and it got to the point to where it was you know, uh I had to find something to get my head out of where I was, and music was that thing, and then songwriting specifically, became a deal. But it also, it led me, sorry about that, got mowing outside, I guess.
It's okay. It's okay.
It led me back into the veteran community also. I had been completely out of the veteran community, didn't really want to have anything to do with all of that again. Um, but because of songwriting and being involved with, while I was out, a group called Soldier Songs and Veterans found me, or Soldier Songs and Voices, sorry, found me, and we started working together. And then through that brought me into, the veteran community to start, um, working with podcasters in Colorado, military broadcast radio and several other things, and getting out and, just trying to pay that back forward. What the good things that happen to me, I want to see happen to other people now, and give them the tools to do that for themselves. So
Stories are told in different ways, and songwriting happens to be ones that we've embraced, which has been quite
and
an
to
experience.
sorry, and to your point also, Derek, how many people drive past that lighthouse and don't think twice about it? But as a creative songwriter, you see that and you go, oh, you know, that is a beacon, it's a lighthouse. It's something that tells me, hey, this is important to me, almost kind of like it was put there just for you to see, and most people just drive past and don't even notice. But anyway, I'll shut up.
Yeah, it's a wild thing when you have that creative part of you that is just inspired by so many things. And it's something that I kind of talked to one of my best friends got me into music writing, said something I didn't really when he said it, it instantly resonated with me, but I didn't really think about how it resonates with everybody else. And he said, some of the best musicians that are out there, he said, the one thing is trauma for some reason activates a part of your brain that a lot of people just don't have that access to. When he said that, I was like, it resonates with me because, I've sat there but the more I've thought about it over the years, I was thinking like big traumas, and knowing his story, I knew there was a lot of major traumas, but it's not always some major thing. I went to Afghanistan twice, but in day-to-day life and having, like I ended up in a mental hospital for a week after tried to commit suicide. And, you know, my traumas aren't any more significant than anybody else's. And I got the chance to kind of learn that through that experience. Like the kid next to me, just college, the experience and everything going on was a major deal for him. Um, so there's a lot you can learn from in life, and that's always something you can write from and lend your voice to. So my story is not going to be the same as any of yours by any means. We're all unique individuals, and take the things that you've learned in life, put that into a song, put that into music, and share that experience so other people can learn from that.
So true. Thank you for that perspective, my friend. So here's a question to our aspiring songwriters. Um, what is it that you would like to learn between now and next week? What are some of the techniques that will help you get that story that you've been wanting to write into musical format, lyrics, rhythm and groove, chord structure? What is it that we can help you with between now and next week? What I'd like to do is I'd like to go back and talk about some of the techniques that we covered. So back in the lessons, lessons 11 and 12, we looked at using chords and strumming to create an emotional response. We talked about using what you're already familiar with using: C, A, G, E, D, E minor, D minor, A minor. You know those. We taught you that in the Guitar Smarts program itself. We also taught you how to strum. We also suggested you pick a couple of different chords: major, 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 minor, minor, minor. Play around, strum with them. Find a strumming pattern that might kind of bring out the rhythm a little bit of groove as well too, if that's what you're looking for. We also talked about strumming to like the different genres, like a rock. I think Andrea gave some good examples of like a rock strumming pattern or something more country or even folk with finger picking. We also talked about encouraging you to record what it is that you create so you can go back and listen and maybe build upon that, but don't delete it. You want to keep those until you're certain. Although I'm trying not to say delete anything. Keep it, because you never know. I mean, we've had songwriters come here and say, I looked back on that. I wrote that about 5-6 years ago. I'm glad I kept it. I think it was Joel and Christy who said that, hey, I've been working on this song forever until the right person came along. So anyway, those were things that we had talked about previously. Lesson 13 and 14, we talked about the chord family chart. So if you're in the key of C and the major keys within the major chords, I should say, within that key, the C major, it would be 1, 4, and 5, or C, F, and G. And then 2, 3, and 6 are minors. And you can use any of those chords if your song is written in the key of C. And then, of course, as you transpose, if you're in the key of G, G is major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished. We're not talking too much about diminished chords. A little difficult to play for some. But go back to those chord family charts, because those will answer your question: what chords can I play in the key of? Fill in the blank. All right. Strumming pattern charts. We provided you with strumming pattern charts, so you can try to experiment with trying to find the rhythm and groove based on the strumming patterns that you choose, and then using those charts to create the song structure. You can create, use the certain chord and strumming pattern to create the verse, or the chorus, or the intro, or the bridge, or an ending. So we've thrown a whole lot at you, which is the reason why I want to make sure that before we end boot camp next week, that we answer your questions. If we don't answer them here, please post them to the G4V Learning Center, or you can even drop me a line as well too, or any of the instructors our guest songwriters have made themselves available as well too. All right, so I want to get that out on the table, because we're coming up on the end pretty soon here. Now, here's one for the group. This I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and share this with the panelists first of all, and then if the aspiring songwriter community would like to chime in, just unmute yourself. All right, if you have something. Let's take a closer look at something we call motifs. All right. Now, so this is something that I posted recently on the G4V Learning Center. Taking a look at motifs, which is defined as short, distinctive musical phrases or ideas that serve as building blocks for a larger composition, They're usually 2, maybe 10 notes tops. Sometimes you'll hear them repeating with variations throughout a song. And I think that Andrea had used the intro to Lean on Me by Bill Withers. I think that's what it was. The intro is distinctive. Those set of notes is kind of like ba, da, 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 was used throughout the song. But that's an example of a motive or a motif. I'm still not sure how to pronounce it. In fact, let's talk about this, guys. How many of you knew what a motif was? And if I'm even pronouncing it correctly, to me, it was kind of like it's just a musical phrase is all that I call it. It's just a series of notes and, series of rhythm patterns. But how many? I'm learning something new too. How many of you knew this was called a motif? Please open your mics and let's talk about this. It's not meant to be like music theory. I don't remember learning that in music theory, but I do remember hearing about it in songwriting. So give it a shot, anyone.
Well, I guess I can say I was today years old when I discovered what motifs were.
I feel better.
Yeah.
Am I even
knew what to
pronouncing
call
it
them.
correctly? Motif?
Motif.
No, I'm pretty
Motif.
sure it's a motif. I remember it from like English class though, from like poetry
from
and stuff,
poetry,
and not
right.
necessarily music. Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's so there's that poetic element to.
Right.
I wonder if that has something to do with when you have like spoken word, there's a certain pentameter or an ebb and flow to the inflection of the voice. So maybe that's kind of the initial shape or the motif, if you will,
Well, yeah, and similar to like the recurring theme of the piece,
Yeah.
The imagery and stuff.
And there are, as far as when I'm reading, is motifs. You can start with something very simple, two notes or 3 notes for that matter, and then you create those little short phrases, those motifs, and add to it. So I'm thinking to myself, like the song "Life in the Fast Lane" by the Eagles. Da, 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 da. I mean, to me, it's kind of like you had to start somewhere. So and it's almost like 2 parts. Da 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 da. So those are some examples of motifs. But maybe I don't know. Are there any that come to mind to you guys that are kind of like, yeah, this is definitely a motif. This is definitely. I didn't know that's what it was called, but I guess I really do know what it is. But what are some other examples? Is of motifs that you may have come into? It's like, oh yeah, that could work. Or have you created one?
I would say that, yeah. So when you brought that up and as you're talking about Song for You, which is going to be the next song I'm recording, definitely motif. I mean, it's setting the general tone for the song, but it's recurring through the song is what it is. I mean, it's just, I repeat it over and over, and it's something that, well, Nashville hates it because it doesn't lend to traditional songwriting, which is why I tell everybody, screw Nashville, and you don't need to follow their rubric every time you write a song. It's just not
They're on the phone right
necessary.
now.
Hell yeah.
They hear that.
I got critiqued for it heavily because it wasn't a traditional 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's 1 2 1 2 1 2 basically, and how it comes out. But
you want to share it with us?
Yeah, I can share you the.
Yeah. Please do. This
So
is a good.
For me,
This is
this is
an
why it's a
example.
motif. Is I took this one part and basically I just rearranged how it plays. So
Okay. Oh, are you on? Hold on.
hold on, let me turn my.
You know that.
Yeah.
The old routine.
Yeah, let me turn this sucker on here. There we go. All right. then I just repeat that. But I mean, the chords aren't really changing. It's just how I'm playing the chords. So it's just a different way to do it. But that set the tone for the song, and that's all it is. It's just the chords being changed how they're played.
Yeah, so it's a series of notes or chords that are repeatable throughout the song itself.
Yeah. Excuse my German Shepherd. He's losing his mind.
I got a barking dog back here.
I think one of the things I wanted to kind of caveat on there is you could hear that initially, Derek, when you were playing, you had kind of this little melody that was happening in the finger picking. And then that becomes kind of the motif because you bring a portion of that into the chords. You can actually hear those notes in that range. So it's like, oh, it's still there. You know, like just playing in the background. So you hear it. You know, even
Yeah, that's what I was just noticing when he was bringing up the motif thing. Because when I wrote it, I only had I still have the 4 chords, and I was like, initially I had strummed through all of it, and then I had a buddy come in, and he was like, "Hey, what if we did this?" And I was like, "Oh, dude, I love that." And you can change the entire tone of a song by just doing something simple as letting your dogs howl in the background. But
It's all part of the song. So maybe you should let them in.
This is what happens when you have a wolf in your house. This is exactly what happens.
They want to hear you. They want to hear your playing and singing. Obviously, you should let them in.
Oakley's a wolf, and he's losing his mind right now.
Well, anyway, you should go get him, or go.
I will.
Let them in, and
I will. I'll go get him. I got to let him count.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be in terms of creating these motifs. It doesn't have to be anything difficult. In fact, it's kind of like, the basis for like a hook, right? You could go ahead and you can create the hook in your song. The thing that's repeatable throughout the song. Or it could just be a certain phrase that starts the verse. But just know that repeating is totally an acceptable technique in songwriting, as long as it gets the music, the story told, and all. Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that and say, a big place where you see motifs, and I can't think of any specific song at the moment, but is in blues with the call and response. It's usually a variation off of the same riff that they're tweaking back and forth, but they're all staying within that same kind of original riff. So that's a good example of like a motif that continues through the song, even though it's different every time they play it, but it's all based on the same little riff. So it's all the same motif that continues throughout.
What just came to mind is Sweet Home Chicago,
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
baby, don't you? But that's me. Very good. Very good. So I have a question for the attendees. I did post this video for motifs and creating them. I'm just wondering if anyone has created one that they'd like to share. Or maybe, let's see, I'm not looking at the questions or anything like that. But does anyone have a motif that they would like to go ahead and share? And if so, make it known. Raise your hand so I can see you. Let me look at the gallery here. You guys are so shy. I hope next week is graduation day, and every single one of you will be given the opportunity to share what it is that you've been waiting to share all this time, and that's your experiences with Songwriters Bootcamp. And if you've written a verse that you want to share, or maybe share a motif, hint, that you'd like to share, we'll give you that opportunity. If not today, then next week. Okay. I think let's go around the room. Let me ask you this. Hey, Matt, you wanna play a little? I want you actually to share some of your latest song with us, because that you've been working on. Are you open to just going ahead and bring that guitar out? And maybe you can kind of give us a little. That's the one. Because you're in that room and you have a guitar in every room, right? Is that you?
Yeah, pretty much.
So basically, what you've got there is a song you're working on the song, and it obviously consists of motifs. right?
Yeah.
Although this is new to me, so, but maybe you can share, maybe some of the phrases that you've got in there, or just play the entire thing and then point out, some of the highlights of either the phrasing or this is how you wanted it to sound. This is why you phrased it that way.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so I'm not gonna play the entire thing because the entire thing isn't done. So,
Okay.
I'll give you
Songwriting.
kind of a taste of what I was kind of stuck in. So, drop D tuning. I just kind of fell into this. Oh, there is a shadow that hides a man who's broken from the cold. Oh, in that shadow, he makes his bed on those sharp and broken stones. Oh, that's where you'll find me, just trying to bring him just a little hope. And oh, there is a purpose, it lies beyond this dark and twisted road. Kind of the melody of it.
Yeah. It's a start, right?
The chorus, I'm trying to go a little higher,
Uh-huh.
but I want it to be like one of those like challenging things. Like the first verse is the struggle, just any kind of struggle. The second verse is identifying yourself with that particular kind of struggle, and then the chorus is going to be that that persevering over it. So. One of the things is these kind of negative things are usually things that don't come from positive, happy events in life. So I just kind of channeled like this kind of dark, kind of evil, sinister type thing that kind of lurks in the background, always hunting you.
Mhm.
So in the chorus, I really wanted to challenge that, kind of like draw the line in the sand and say this is enough. So the chorus, I'm trying to plug into that. Goes something like so we will burn all the shadows and set fire to the skies. We'll stand toe to toe with the devil and we'll look him in the eyes. It's like you thought we were your puppets and you fed us with your lies, but now there's an army standing here. I think it's you'll hear our battle cry, something kind of like that. So
Got a couple comments. Ray saying,
dude.
nice. Seems almost tribal. Really enjoy the drone
it's
tones.
just kind of like boom, 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 just
Oh.
that kind of steady.
Leaf has also said he was getting some feeling of dark.
Yeah, good for dark.
Or the rhythm. Jack dropped he is good for dark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that insight. Hey, Jack, did you bring your guitar by any chance? No? You didn't? Did you bring your guitar by any chance? You did? Do you...
Yeah, I actually have more guitars than rooms for my house. So
I wanted to give you an opportunity to maybe, share anything with regards to, the songwriting process that you're in.
well, actually, I can do something like that, but I'd prefer to play something that I already have that kind of illustrates kind of what
Absolutely.
we've been talking about. And also what
Good
we
thing.
were talking about last time I was on here too. This song is one that I have built out over the years, and I started with just an image of an empty bottle on the floor, and then I built out a world from that into lyrics, and then single chord, come up with a few lines and then come up with a few lines. And then as far as the motif, and when I developed the melody, I was actually trying to learn to play a cover song and was trying to copy a steel guitar riff and realized he was just kind of walking around in D. And so I took that and applied it to this song. And so now this is what I've got. And so the intro sets the motif for the not only the melody of the song, but then there's a little transition between the little bridge is also a variation of the initial riff. So
Here,
just to
I just
kinda-
I wanted to comment on,
Mhm.
listening to others' work and being inspired by that, to use that in a way that's your own, but really making it your own kind of a thing. So, like, just like, I had mentioned in other boot camp workshops, is basically there are 12 notes, 12 chords, right? Or you've got 12 notes and you've got a whole bunch of chords, and you can use them in any combination that you want because it's probably already been done anyways. But the difference
Right.
is, what do you do with it, making it your own? Go for it, Jack.
Sure. Oh, and somebody mentioned they wanted to get away from 3 chords, and there's whole genres built on 3 chords, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But anyway. Nope. Sorry.
Oh, you got it. You caught it. There you go. We can hear you.
Disabled. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Bloodshot eyes peel open. Look around the room. I think it might be morning, or maybe afternoon. Out the window, the sun is nearly set. Another day wasted without an ounce of regret. Ashtrays overflowing, my head is awful sore today. There's another just like the day before. Well, I don't know how I got home, but the keys in the door, and my soul is empty as I battle on the floor. Boxes in a corner, and a leaning crooked stack. They're just reminders that you ain't coming back. There's cobwebs in the pantry, but nothing more. All empty as I battle on the floor. The ashtrays overflowing, my head is awful sore today. There's another just like the day before. I don't know how I got home. The keys in the door, and my soul is empty as I battle on the floor. I'm empty.
Oh, thank you,
Get my
Jack.
fingers awake.
Appreciate it. So, in terms of building the melody, let's start with the melodies that
Mhm.
you've got in that song. I mean, you could say that they started off as motifs, and then you kept adding. And can you talk about how you found yourself creating that melody?
Um, yeah, well, initially it was following the that initial little intro riff of kind of climbing and um, beyond that though it was really just kind of feeling how it came out. That one really came fairly easily once I had that initial kind of start for how I wanted it to feel and
Was it
and
like
getting
did,
that riff.
do did you use the technique of just here's what I got, here's what I'm starting with, and I'm just hamming my way through it. This is what feels right, something like that.
Very much so. Yeah, and just playing it over and over again and changing little things and, almost kind of accidentally stumbling through the dark and accidentally finding all the little pieces that made the melody more interesting. But starting with basically, just a very basic thing and just playing it and as I feel it and as, you know, just kind of it works its way out, I guess
So
is the way to put that. Yeah.
essentially, it just kind of goes to show everyone who we've been telling everyone all along, no music theory required here, right? And
Right.
you don't necessarily. I mean, it's great to know the chords, and we did teach our students that on guitar and all. But songwriting can be something just like that without the instrument or with the instrument. But the important thing is just getting the story told the way that you want it in the song that you're writing. So
And
that's
I
kind of
actually, I kind of hesitate to say this, but even though I can voice and speak to, in theory, everything that I've written there, I find that actually thinking about theory too much often gets in the way of your creativity. If you start trying to make things too complicated to fit some idea of what the theory is supposed to be, oh, I have to have a minor six in there and that diminished seven chord, and that kind of stuff starts really kind of messing with you. Um,
absolutely.
especially in the beginning, especially in the beginning.
Maybe it's if you overthink, and music is so geared towards feeling and emotion, and when you overthink things, and it's kind of like, oh, this is not the feeling I'm going for. Ray just said, I get the feeling I get with this song is reminiscent of my father's 60s country albums. Nice. Thanks, Ray, for sharing that. All right, well, let's see here. I want to go ahead and open up the mics to everyone who might have questions about motifs and motifs and motives and phrasing, stuff like what we're talking about right now in terms of these musical phrases that we're creating. Go ahead, John. How are you doing? Good to see you.
And mute that thing. Hi guys, how you doing today?
Hey, good to see
Up
you.
here in Olympia, visiting my daughter this weekend.
Cool.
Left
All
home
right.
at 4:30 this morning to get up here in time to be at this class
Make
before
make the
she has
class.
a dance
Wow.
recital. Yeah, I didn't get up here for class and before her dance recital and her she's doing tap, which she normally has quite of experience history with, but she started ballet 6 months ago at the
Yeah.
age of 31 and trying to impress her father. I think I don't know if she's already done that, but yeah.
Well,
So
well, well. Well, good to
so
see you. I'm glad you made it safely up there. So, what's your question?
my question is I'm trying to understand motifs and it's really I want to play something and it's basically DGA and I repeat it a lot and then I sometimes throw in an E minor or an A suspended in there and I changed it, and I just do the same rhythm, groove the same, but then sometimes
Uh-oh. John, did we lose you? John, I think we might have. There he is. There he is. Okay.
So am I? Is that? What am I doing? There. That's a simple question.
So I
Or the
think
hard
I have
question.
I think a good way to kind of describe it is like you say you're playing like D, A, and G. Well, think about
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner when they play Sweet Home Alabama. It's D, C, and G, right? I mean, you can play it D, C, G, but that bum bum ba bum bum ba that's the motif because you can play that mode, that little picking pattern, back throughout like the entire thing. So the picking pattern, the little cool little lick or riff, that becomes a motif. Um, but you can hear it throughout the chords when they're just playing the chords. Like you can hear so kind of Sweet Home Alabama is a good idea or a good example of that motif.
Okay. Thanks, man. Yeah. I'm just. I've been playing that little rep or I've been doing that for months. It has no meaning. It doesn't belong anywhere as far as in anything I've written or tried to write, I should say. And I've thought, well, I just need to put words to this someday, and I probably will do something with it someday, but I just don't know what it would be yet.
I'm kind of big on the idea that everything has meaning, and if you're playing that for a reason. I mean, somewhere inside of you wants to get that out, right? And I think the biggest part of this whole motif argument or conversation rather, is that the motif is the mood setter. It's what you're trying to get out. It's what you're trying to portray. So I think somewhere inside of you, this little chord progression exists because you're wanting to get something out that meets the tone of those chords, if that makes any sense. So what I would say is stick with that and then really dive into your emotional self and your being and really figure out what you're trying to get out through those chords, if that makes any sense.
It does. It does. And, I don't know where that progression came from or why I just kind of stuck with it. And I don't have it written down anywhere. It's just here. And I know I should write it down. You know, uh, Tom's looking at me, write stuff down, John. But, I just, is, so that's not, the motifs is the groove to that? Or it's
I
not
would say
necessarily the three
it's more the
chords.
mood than
Okay.
it
The
is.
mood, yeah.
Yeah, it's more the mood than it is. It's not necessarily, oh, it has to be this one rhythm. It's not necessarily that. It's more the mood because you can have a motif with chords, you can have it with picking, you can have it with whatever you have it with, but it's the mood that you're trying to set with that entire piece.
I'm
And
starting to picture it.
just to kind of build on what Derek's saying is so that's the mood that you're trying to get out, that emotion that is coming through those chords. And so if you want to build on that, keep playing that and just really kind of concentrate on what you feel as you're playing that. Is this making me feel happy? Is it making me feel sad? Is it, what feeling am I getting by playing these chords? And then that motif will kind of develop itself as from there.
Just a lot of playing around, right?
Yeah,
A lot of experimenting.
play
Just
with
like
it
Yeah.
you
and
said.
let it grow, man. I mean,
Mhm.
it starts out with this right now, and it's stuck in your head, right? And you keep playing it over and over, but allow it to grow. It'll start to take shape here, and you'll start to be like, okay, this is what I want. So, yeah.
Real good, real good. John, you
Oh,
good?
great. Thank you, guys.
Who else might have a question about motifs? Okay. So thanks, gents. Thank you all.
I do
I
have a
would like
question.
to say, I mean, it kind of goes into the next topic, which is phrasing. Oh, Mike, did you have a question or a
Yeah,
comment? Go
question I
ahead.
had was the question I had was for the um it was for Matt when he was playing was it Matt or Derek? I can't remember. When you were playing the single chords going up.
Uh, well, which piece was it? Like, Matt does a lot of both the same things I like to do.
Oh, it sounds like you both may need to replay what it is that you guys presented.
So mine was this one.
That was it.
Yeah, that guy. So basically, I sat down with a general chord structure, and how that originally had started was me playing this. Gosh, what was it? I gotta find it now. Because I'm an idiot. I can't remember my own chords now that I play it that way so many times. But I started out doing that strumming. And then from there, it just became this adventure of, well, how do I make that different? But yeah, I'll let you ask the question.
Okay, no, that was my question. So you kind of went from a chord to then just picking it with.
Yeah, a lot of the time I start out with just kind of a general idea. So like, what was it? John was doing, you sit there and like I just get a chord structure stuck in my head. And then from there, I have to figure out, well, how can I make that more exciting? And it's something that Tom's been working with me. That's basically what we did as I went through the class, was how can I play this somewhere else? Or how can I play G here and then here? And then we kind of went through the, was that the CAD, whatever.
Page system.
Yep, cage system. Yeah, so... we go through that, and that's just me. And then the hardest part for me right now is learning how to like pick and do more fun stuff with that. So I heavily rely on going through other people, be like, hey, how do I do this, but not this?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I'm glad you're continuing with what you and I talked about through your lessons.
I always do. I really do. Yeah.
I'm shocked and impressed.
And I need to sit there and get through this big sucker of a book, because it goes through that as well, and it's got
Music
a lot more
theory.
into it. So
Oh,
that one's an actual music theory book. That's not the previous book that I had. So
Thanks for sharing that, Derek. All right, Mike. Thanks for the question. All right, let's go on. I got one more topic, and we've got about 15 minutes left. That is, I'm going to mute you, Derek. I'm going to mute you. All right. All right. Sorry, Derek. I had to mute you. I want to go ahead and talk about basically playing with phrasing. All right. And we're kind of talking about that right now. We're talking about phrasing right now. But just here's the scenario. You've got your lyrics. You're trying to write something musically in a melody, for instance, so you can take those lyrics and actually sing them. But it's not working out, right? Maybe there are too many syllables, or maybe it's just not exciting when you sing what it is that you've got written. Let me go back to our panelists and ask, what are some of the things that you guys look at in terms of taking these lyrics and taking music and applying some phrasing to it to make it more to your liking. So Jack, you want to start? Can I put you, or whoever wants to go first would be, I would be curious how.
Yeah, I can start. That's fine.
Okay.
I would say kind of like what we've been talking about is, just kind of play it over and over again and try out, audition a bunch of different ways to do it. And also don't be afraid to borrow from, what what your influences are. People rewrite songs over the same melodies all the time, and I'm not saying you should copy, note for note, but definitely take inspiration from other people around you and sing your song to that melody and go, well, that kind of works, but if I change it here, it'll that makes it even better, and it makes it more mine. And just, it's really, don't be afraid to just stumble through it and toss out what doesn't work. There's no you don't have to hold on to and go, oh, I have to have it this way. I mean, let go of your expectations and just run with it. The song will come through the way it's supposed to. I mean, I firmly believe that. I know that's kind of a metaphysical kind of thing to get into, but that's, the song will come through. The melody it will find you.
Love to hear some examples of any of you who have come into a situation like that. It's kind of like, no, this isn't quite phrasing the way I wanted to. Do you have a song recently that you may have worked on, or maybe a song that you had written a long time back, and it's like, I had to rework this until it sounded just right. But hey, I'm welcome to your demonstrations, your examples, gents. Anyone got Derek? You got something, or you? No. Okay. All right.
Hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I had to reset up my entire thing because I had my laptop and everything out in the living room. We were doing some recording for L&T Music, and I didn't realize that it was still on my good old Apple or
Technology.
my MacBook microphone. You were like, I got mute you. I was like, I got my mute button pushed. What's going on?
And here we all thought we're all just musicians when you have to really become intimate with technologies.
Yeah, it turns out you got to be an IT tech. That's why my lead guitarist is an IT tech, because I'm
sorry to break the news to you.
not the best with it. But no, I mean, if you sit there and like, if you were to just go through, like my book, I mean, you'll sit there and you'll see like scribble marks. I mean, throughout the whole thing, where it's me just trying to get everything worded how I want. And, it depends on how I usually like, I like having a tone set for the song first. But if I start with words, the words are going to change 8,000 times more than they would if I start with the music. So, it's just one of those things where you go with it.
That's your magic number, 8,000. With an 8 million, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, I play these songs millions of times, and it's me getting like trying not to get frustrated with myself. Man, this is really how I want it. This is how I want it to come off. And then I'm like, well, that line doesn't really fit there, but I want it to still have that same tone. Like, how do I reword this?
Is this your challenge as well too, Matt? I mean, do you have that same challenge? Kind of like, I'm going to do it several revisions until I get it right. Or is this something where it falls out of the sky? This is good. I'm good. So how does it work for you?
I had a song that I was just strumming, and I was like, okay, the strumming sounds nice, but I want to add something that can fit behind that strumming to kind of be that motif, and it was a song that I had written with another veteran buddy of mine who served in Alaska. His name's Sean Parkhurst, and he lives out in Alabama right now. There was a song we wrote called Left Unspoken. It just kind of talked about some of the things like, he goes into town and he pretends to put on a smiling face, pretends to be sober, but everyone knows he's lying, he's hiding something, So it was a song that was really emotional, and I wanted it to have kind of a powerful sound. So the strumming pattern initially was just something kind of like this. And I go a little higher. Something behind that, something that could kind of have a little bit of a groove, because I mean the guitar sounds fine, but this is what I want to put behind it.
You needed to kind of play around with these ideas,
yeah,
in order to really develop them,
and
right?
What was cool about this, it was easy to find a little lick that would melt that whole thing together. So really just playing with the strumming, getting the sound I like, and then like, okay, now how can I put something unique in that draws your ear to something else instead of just the rhythm. So that picking pattern kind of really fit there. So
then it caught your ear. That's the thing. It was genuine to you. It was like, I really like this.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing is that if you're not liking it,
I mean, those chords, they're just I fell in love with just the chord progression, just that strumming progression there, and I would play it over and over and over. Almost like one of those I'm going to warm up my finger kind of things, which is similar to John. I mean, it's a melody that plays in your head. You play it all the time, not necessarily going anywhere with it yet, but that's something that I was into. Like, I didn't have any thoughts to really create a song. I fell in love with that melody. And it was like, okay, now how do I build? How does this thing grow? So let's kind of play with it a little bit.
Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, Matthew or Matt, because I'm sure the other people have questions too. Can you kind of talk a little bit about how you went from that chord progression into the riff that you played that you said ties it all together, and how you came up with that?
Okay, yeah. So the little riff itself, right? I mean, the chords, all I'm doing is I'm taking that chord that I'm playing, the 4 strings. No, that's the wrong spot. Don't do that. There we go. That's the sound. So all I was doing is just alternating the only notes I'm putting down. I'm actually pushing the fret down on. Then I'll walk up, or down, I guess you could say. Allows me just to accent a little bit.
Liking that
but
groove.
This note here, I was able to find that down here with my lead. So it was like, okay, those are the notes. So I just started here. Just find that one little kind of sound, and you just kind of take advantage of it, because you're gonna know when you hear it. Like, you'll hear a lot of things like, well, that's not what I wanted that to sound like, and then you're gonna hear it and you'll be like, oh, okay. And you're super focused, looking at the fretboard, like, yeah, remember you take mental snapshots, like, this is where I was on this day, but yeah. You're gonna hear it, and the cool thing about hearing that little note or that sound as soon as you do is it lights a fire, man. So yeah, I like to mess with it, and I do what you did at the beginning of the video here, Tom, where you were, you had you playing the guitar, showing off your skills. I saw you. Everyone saw you.
I'm an instructor, remember? I'm supposed to.
And then you had another video of you playing licks over top of that. Like, that's a really good way to build your music, is record yourself playing through a rhythm, and then play it back and record yourself throwing a little lick in there, or bass notes, or subtle accents, a harmonic.
And you can do this in the privacy of your own home. It's kind of like, that's the great thing about it.
It's your story. You tell it however you want.
True. So, very, very, very true. So here's one more question for you. Let me see. We got just a few more minutes left here. When it comes to actually putting like music to the lyrics themselves, how important is it to be able to speak those lyrics just like you're talking, to make it feel like this has got the right, what was that? What was it right? You're phrasing it correctly by speaking it how you normally would say it, and then you put music to that. Is that something that's kind of important, or do you find yourself having to wordsmith and just create these words and phrases simply because they may not make sense, or they need to make sense? You need to be able to say it as if you're telling another individual. That's kind of important. What's your feeling about that?
So, and here's the thing. I took the lyrics for the song I'm currently working on, and I had them at work, because when it's like nothing's going on and it's slow, I work on things that matter, like music. And Derek knows I'll send him stuff from work at the desk. But what was cool is I had the lyrics pulled up on the screen, and I asked a coworker to come back, and I said, read this and tell me what you think. And so they read it, and they're like, okay, yeah, I like how it's shaping out. And I said, okay, now how do you think I sing this? And they said, okay, well, here's what I think. And they're like, well, we know you're going to hold out on the O, and it's going to have kind of a sad, so almost like a depressed sound. So it's going to be like, you probably play in minor chords, right? And I'm like, yep. So they could tell. And then I played portion of it for them. They're like, "Yeah, I knew it," you know. So I think that when it comes to those words, I struggle to find the right word. So that's why, like a rough draft, it'll take me a while to do because I'll go through line by line and try to find some other word that fits better with the melody. But I mean, yeah, I guess I have a certain sound. So
Do you typically like read the lyrics out loud just to make it sound like, okay, this sounds like how I would naturally say it?
yeah,
Is that
well, and the thing is I know I can try as much as I want to sound like a different artist, but guys, all you can really sound like is you, you know.
Yeah,
So I
he
go
sounds
out.
like Fergie and Jesus. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a weird mixture, you know. But no, I mean all you can really sound like is you. So I will write it out and then I'll speak, and then I'll try to sing with that same tone. That's why I know it's me trying to sound like me instead of me trying to either reach too high or sing too low. You know, trying to sound like somebody else. So yeah. And to
Did
be
you ever try
honest, if
that?
you're playing a gig and someone's like, "You don't sound like the original," like, well, there's a jukebox, you know, go put your money in there. So
That was the hardest part for me, like growing up, because how I got into music was like through imitation, I guess, if you will. Whereas like I didn't know anything about music itself, so I was like, I'm gonna try to sound like them. That's how I learned to sing was through that. And then the last like 3 years has been I want to be able to make everything my own version, and I want to sound like me and not that guy. So I'm doing this my way from now on. And then, yeah, everyone's just like, you can't really attempt songs like that. You don't sound like Creedence Clearwater. And it's like, well, I don't really care. I wasn't trying to, to be honest with you. Turns out I am not from, 1960. So,
apparently they've never heard a grown man sing Jolene, you know.
yeah, right. Who does that?
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, go ahead, Jack.
Oh, I was just gonna add to the talking about, other sounding like other people and everything. You can even add that to your cover repertoire to flex that melody muscle and that, creative muscle. Take a song that you love and try to do it just as completely different as you can. And,
That's great.
play around with it.
It's kind of like I've been taught you could do the cover song, but make it your own. Make it your own. That's the important lesson here is that as songwriters, we are already writing songs that are our own because we're writing about what we know. At least that's, what we're kind of pass on to everyone from Andrea Stolpe. And even the conversations here today, it's like, I'm going to make this my own. It's going to be me. This is who I am. So it kind of goes back to, write what you know, play what you know, kind of reaffirms that initial lesson that we were all taught at the very beginning of Songwriters Bootcamp. All right, gents, this has been a wonderfully informative and fun session this hour and a half, and it's almost time's up. It's 11:29 here on the West Coast. I want to go ahead and go back and ask you all one last time. I know that I've asked you this in prior boot camps, but some parting thoughts, maybe on today's topics of discussion, maybe some words of advice to our aspiring songwriters. Let me start with you, Derek, since thank you again for joining us again because you've been back several times. But from today's discussion, is there any parting thoughts that you'd like to
No,
share?
I'm always happy to be here. I'm always grateful to get the opportunity to
Appreciate
do
it.
stuff like
Yeah.
this. It's really an honor for me. But I guess to stick on the motive thing, just really follow through with what your heart's telling you and listen to yourself and just take what you're trying to get out and dive into yourself a little bit more and then listen to what your heart's telling you and what your body's trying to get out because it's going to get out there. Your body knows what it wants, and through expressing music, that's how I've always gotten everything out anyway, is just by listening to what's on my heart and trying to share that. So I think that's a big thing that you can take from the Motive deal.
You are so all in with making sure that this music is you. This song is you. You're a man who has made that clear to me. All in.
Always.
Jack, how about some final words on today's workshop? Anything that you'd like to share with our aspiring songwriters?
Yeah, I want to reiterate what Matt said earlier about, I think it was Matt anyway, about, don't let your limitations on guitar or any instrument limit you. You can speak music, you can tap it on the table. There's kids out there making great music with buckets and rocks. Don't let your musical knowledge limit your creativity. Don't just think of it as making music, think of it as creative, being creative and having a creative outlet and being an artist. So that way you're not limited by, oh, I can't play the D chord or whatever and shift chords fast enough. That don't let that hold you back.
And yeah, I know Ken Busby had brought this up earlier. It's kind of like, you know what,
Oh, that's who it was.
he's found ways around the workarounds. If you're not feeling proficient as a musician, or you want to go out and try and find others who can help you through this puzzle solving process, go reach out to others. It's certainly an option for you. Thanks, Jack. Matt, I cannot tell you how many times I've asked you this question, so I want to give you an opportunity to speak your mind about anything that we covered today, or just overall, because you've been kind of hanging out with us through the
Yeah,
week.
guys, this is an amazing opportunity for me to be able to come in here and hang out with you guys and share and to see you guys challenge yourself, and grow. It's an amazing thing, and I'm truly blessed for having the opportunity. And I mean, I'm excited. Like, I can't wait to hear what you guys have got written, and if you want to collaborate on stuff in the future, like I'm so down to do that. You guys are kicking ass. I mean, I'm sorry, I said a bad word, but
That's a bad
a bad language word.
Wait, we need to get Shannon Book back here.
But no, I did. Oh, it's the first time I said a bad word. Now I'm done. I did want to mention something that was in the chat. Guys, it is real easy to feel like you're making no progress. It really is. And you're gonna feel. John mentioned this. He said, sometimes he feels like he's moving backwards. Guys, you're gonna feel like that. It comes with the territory. I've been playing for 20 years, and I can't tell you how many times I've been like, why don't I understand this? In 20 years, I should be able to know a pentatonic scale in and out, eyes closed, backwards, behind my head. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you're gonna get those feelings. So just be patient with yourself, right? If you get frustrated with it, take a break. Walk away, clear your head, talk to a buddy, go hang out, get yourself back into that neutral, kind of zone to come back to it and approach it with, some fresh energy. You guys are awesome. This is a blessing. I mean, I love hanging out with Derek. Derek's cool. Jack, I just met you, man, but I love your sound. It's an iconic sound. And I've spoken with Ken and John and Mike and you guys are doing an awesome job. So my hat's off to you guys. You're going to be here one day as a guest on one of Tom's, boot camps, and you're going to be helping him teach.
Count on it. Count on it.
You're going to be helping him. So, guys, I'm proud of you. Keep it up.
All right, man. Thank you for those good words. Next week is session 8, and it's our very last session for Songwriters Bootcamp. So give yourself a pat on the back. Joining me will be Paul Lilly. He is our director of online learning, and he has been so wanting to be a part of these discussions, but his scheduling has just been completely taken up with other things.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
He'll be here next week. So, I'm also going to extend an invitation to all of our veteran songwriters who would like to be a part of the send-off of Songwriters Boot Camp until we do something else. I don't know. There's this interest I seem to be hearing about some of the songwriters here who are wanting to do something recurring, maybe to kind of support each other. So there's always the possibility of that. And if you're interested in that, make sure you drop me a line uh, and let me know that so we can go ahead and put something on the calendar. Next week, again, we're giving you, the aspiring songwriters, the opportunity to share what it is you've created so far. So if you've got lyrics or ideas for lyrics, or you've got these song ideas that you've created, or you're stuck on what should I do with this next, whatever it is that you have, we want to give you that time next week. So we're not going to really be covering too much in the way of material within Andrea's workbook, because I think we've pretty much covered everything that we believe will equip you to get to that next level of creating the lyrics and music. So have your questions ready as well too. We can go ahead and answer them then, or if you want, just go back to the G4V Learning Center, post them there, and someone there will be more than happy to respond. If not, I will. I'll be there for sure. So get that all ready to be shared, and we'll see you all hopefully a week from today, same time. And bring your guitars, bring your works. I'm Tom Lamog for Guitars for Vets Learning Center. You all keep on rocking, keep at it, and we'll see you next week at Songwriters Bootcamp.